2 years ago, Geetha Siddhappa, a senior business analyst for a software company, was transferred from her home in Bangalore, India, to Iowa for work. It was a move that excited Ms. Siddhappa and her husband, Abhishek Shanbhag, who met a decade ago while working at a call center. They lived in a 2-bedroom apartment in West Des Moines with a balcony, dishwasher, and washer-dryer, in a complex with a gym and pool, for which they paid around $1,050 a month. But we both were brought up in city culture, and living in West Des Moines was a letdown, Mr. Shanbhag said. Though neighboring Des Moines is the state's capital, it seemed to shut down on weekends, he added. We had imagined it would be crowded and super fun, but it was the opposite of that. Within a year, however, Ms. Siddhappa's company transferred her again, this time, to New York. The couple had never been there, but were eager to enjoy the city living to its fullest, said Mr. Shanbhag, who worked in the video game industry in India. We thought, finally we will witness real America. On sites like StreetEasy, they saw 1-bedrooms for about $1,600 in Inwood and Washington Heights. Last summer, Mr. Shanbhag contacted several agents and decided to work with Kimberly Bloomfield of City Habitats. We had a huge checklist, he said. Outdoor space was a must, as Mr. Shanbhag, now 28, wanted to be able to step outside to smoke without a balcony. I feel like we are stuck within the 4 walls of a house, Ms. Siddhappa, 33, said. She would be working from home much of the time, so she wanted a building that had a business center or some kind of common workspace. And they were hoping for other amenities as well. Ms. Bloomfield's response? In that price range, there are no amenities, she said. Their expectations were way off base. I sent them pictures of what they could expect. I tried to tell them, but I don't think they could believe the reality until they saw it. The kind of place they envisioned didn't exist within their budget, she told them. But they had StreetEasy evidence to prove me wrong, she said, referring to the listings they had found in northern Manhattan. If you don't live in New York, you don't grasp what a long time it takes to go a short distance. The couple, who were staying in a midtown hotel, settled on a budget of around $1,800. Ms. Bloomfield suggested Yorkville, on the far Upper East Side, which they explored and discovered they liked. Ms. Bloomfield started by showing them a studio with a backyard on East 81st Street, for $1,890. Hearing that it had outdoor space triggered the imagination for me, Ms. Siddhappa said. But the yard turned out to be unappealing, and surrounded by tall buildings. And the apartment had a sleeping loft, with a ladder, over the kitchen. It was just not meant for us, she said. They also saw a small 1-bedroom, on the 6th floor of a walk-up, on East 80th Street. But the rent was $2,325 a month, way over their budget, which had now risen to $2,250 and not a penny more, Ms. Siddhappa said. Though they liked this small apartment, there was no outdoor space. We realized that a 1-bedroom budget is going to be really high, so we stuck to a studio, Mr. Shanbhag said. Most of the places they saw seemed small, and some were dark or lacked ventilation. Ms. Siddhappa, who cooks a lot, found the kitchens barely serviceable. I was quite sad that we were going to have so many adjustments, she said. We did not know anything about the city, and we had lots of questions. By the time they visited a studio in a 7-story building in the high East 80s, the nicest apartment they had seen by far, at $1,945, they were ready to settle on something. When it comes to house hunting, I'm not really the guy for that, Mr. Shanbog said. For the location and the price, they felt, they would not find anything better. The couple signed the lease last summer, paying a broker's fee of 15% of a year's rent, or around $3,500. I am still recovering from that shock, Ms. Sidapa said. In the city, that's how it works. If you can't afford it, don't come. One room living for two is a challenge, though it has its advantages, Mr. Shanbog said. It is easier to clean than a one-bedroom. The price is the biggest thing. And the nature of the apartment changes completely, depending on what they're doing. If I play a video game, it turns into a bachelor pad. When we have a conversation, it turns into a couple's bedroom. When we cook, it turns into a kitchen. With no outdoor space, he goes out to the sidewalk to smoke, a trip bothersome enough that it is helping him toward his goal of quitting. Any compromises they have made, however, seem to have been worth it. They have made new friends, and joined Asphalt Green, a nearby sports club where they work out. They also make occasional trips to museums. And the city is every bit as crowded and exciting as they imagined it would be. We're having a blast, Mr. Shanbog said.